Do you have thinking partners? Do you have people you can reach out to who are professional, capable people that you really trust, not only with the things that you're already certain about, but also with your uncertainties? Stay tuned for our conversation about having thinking partners and your professional friend network. Hi, Shannon Waller here, and welcome to Team Success. Today, what I'm going to talk about is something that I have found incredibly enriching and nourishing over my professional career, and in particular, over the last few years, because we've had experienced a global situation, the global lockdown, and I have been able to tap into this incredible network of people more than I ever have before. So what I'm talking about here is the real value of having thinking partners. So these are people with whom you really enjoy conversations, that you can ask them questions. They ask you really provocative questions. It has you think differently, has you think broader, gives you a new perspective. And sometimes I call them my professional friends. Please be clear, they're my friends first, but they're also really great professionals. And they're people I trust, and they're people that I can be open with. So where this idea came from is that I was, it's very easy to get caught up in the day-to-day of your company, of your role, of your business. I know that was happening for me. But then I was lucky enough to find some people, in the strategic coach world of workshops where we just hit it off. And we hit it off more than, me as someone who's supporting what they're doing in the program or coaching them. We just had a common interest, whether it be, developing leadership capabilities for teams. I'm thinking of my friend Kent. We can just talk all things leadership all the time, and we always come up with some really cool ideas. There's people with whom I can talk profiles. My friend Jerry, you'll hear a great interview with him. Oh my gosh, he's Colby certified. I'm Colby certified. He's doing this new profile called YOS, and I think it's fascinating. So there's people we can just talk about how people approach the world and the three parts of the mind. And we both get it. We both have some experience. There's my amazing thinking partner within Strategic Coach, Kathy Davis. So we're not just focusing on the tasks we have to get done, but about the whole organization as a whole. So there are people with whom I can think, and I get better as a result of these conversations. And they tell me that they do too. I'm going to take their word for it. So we both gain something out of the conversation. And again, the only people I talk with are people I really genuinely care about and our friends. Let's be clear, that's my success criteria. Not everyone has the same one. But for me, they're people I have to really, really like. They have to be people with something interesting to say or that they think. They often have a similar but complementary, not exactly the same approach that I do. They have depths of experience that I don't have, but we can come together and kind of collaborate intellectually on things. It's so much fun. So I have been very, very, very deeply appreciative of this. And what I notice is that Babs and Dan, co-founders of Strategic Coach, have their own network of people with whom they work really closely, and they have these awesome collaborations. And it occurred to me one day, I kind of need to have my own. Again, as I said, it can be easy to just get focused head down on your own world. And we have very busy, complex worlds. So there's a lot that's super appealing and can keep you intellectually engaged with that. But then to be able to reach out and to be curious about how other people are approaching things. And certainly our Strategic Coach workshops are 100% an opportunity to do this. It is so fun to meet other like-minded people that are all entrepreneurs or in entrepreneurial leadership or entrepreneurial positions as team members and go, oh, we think alike. Our experiences are similar. How have you handled this situation? How'd you handle it? That's really cool. I never thought about that. I think we really provide this amazing opportunity for, I don't love the word networking because it's not in this traditional way of doing it, but having other thinking partners. But then doing that outside of that structure too is also very, very fun. So just to share with you some of the people that I consider, and I'm sure I'm going to leave some people out. So if you are one of my thinking partners, please don't take this personally because I forget things often. So one of the key people that I have been privileged to coach and privileged to be friends with is Amy Bruschi. So Amy is president of Colby Corps, and it's great. She's another professional woman has kids, a little bit older than mine, but not much. And it's just been so great sharing experiences. And we have a passion for people and their own development and unique ability and success in the world. So, just her connection and relationship with Kathy Colby, whom I've always loved, we have that in common. I've been well certified in Colby since 1995, so long history. So we share so much common experience, but she's a brilliant, brilliant leader. And I love getting her input, and we love talking and connecting. So she's one. I've really appreciated my connection with Nick Sonnenberg of getleverage.com. And, Nick's all about working remotely. And I remember one of our very first conversations recorded on video, on Zoom, actually, just when lockdown hit, about how to make remote work, because that's his jam. Like, I'm all about teamwork. He's all about the systems that make teamwork work. How cool is that? Part of the reason why I want to do this podcast is because he calls me his intellectual sparring partner. So if you can imagine, he's the system guy and I'm the people woman. It's like we do not approach things the same way, like at all. Sometimes he'll be, you did what? But having an intellectual sparring partner makes you better. It makes you stronger. So it's really kind of fun. I mean, I also bring a lot of humor because I think it's fun and funny. What we do, all of my conversations involve laughter because that's me. I just enjoy the process. I don't have to agree with everything they say. In fact, quite often I don't. But we can have a conversation about it, and it enriches my experience and expands my thinking, which is, again, something I really enjoy. My buddy Evan, he and I share the same Colby. Exactly. We are twins. He's a different generation than I am. I've had a chance to interview him for his new book, which is AI as Your Teammate. And it's so fun to share life experiences, to share different approaches to business. And, what his number one goal is in life is freedom. Well, how do you make that happen? I'm completely fascinated by that. Hence being on his world tour we just talked about today. So all of these people are people that I make time for in my work week, in my days, to have conversations with. And this is on a, at least regular or semi-regular basis, because we find each other's intellect and experience and approach to life interesting and different. Oh, I actually forgot to mention one, my really good friend, Matt. So if you're listening, I love thinking with Matt. He'll call me up. I'll call him up. We'll bounce ideas off together. And I always leave those conversations energized and excited. And that's, again, probably another success criteria you might want to include for yours. So I've just given you my list of people. One common element between all of them is we tend to be very passionate about creating great companies and great organizations and helping people be their best selves. We would have different ways of talking about it. And they're all really, really, really smart. I realize that that's a success criteria for me in terms of my friends. Maybe someone else's can be completely different. This may not be yours, but I know those are two things for me. We have to really care deeply about other human beings, especially at work, and helping them be their best selves and successful. And then intelligence doesn't hurt either. If you're going to have a thinking partner, it's good if if they're good at thinking, is one way to do it. And it's just enriched my life so much, and it's educated me. I mean, obviously they've been guests on my podcast, and they help me expand my repertoire of things I can talk about, and I can make these resources available to other people. That's really important to me. And I just love expanding my horizons and not just staying in my own world. I was going to say it's not really little, but it gets much, much, much bigger when I can share minds and share thinking with others. So my strong encouragement, especially if you are moving into a leadership position in your company, or you are a leader in your organization, or even if you are a founder visionary who realize that you've got a little bit insulated lately and you haven't checked him out with the greater world, to really make sure that you build those relationships, have those thinking partners. Say, hey, I've got a question, something that I've been struggling with, noodling about, whatever verb you like to use, giving some thought to. I'd love your take on this. If someone asked you this question, what would you say? Oh my gosh, it is so fascinating to have those conversations. And other people really appreciate being asked. They love being trusted as a thinking partner. I know when someone asks me stuff, I'm like, I feel so honored and privileged to be included in their well, as we would say at Coach, their uncertainties. Often what we see from other people are what they're certain about. When someone brings their uncertainties to you, it's a gift. They are being really open and transparent about what they don't know yet. And if I have hopefully something constructive to say, I actually have gotten better at saying, I actually have no idea. What are you thinking? But I'll try and draw their wisdom out of them. But I feel really grateful to be included as someone that they would share that with. I don't take that for granted at all. So for me, it's an honor and it's a privilege. So if you're thinking you're asking someone is going to be an imposition on them, first of all, they're the wrong person. Two, the right people will be like, oh, wow, I'm so glad you thought to include me in your thinking. And then you'll have a great productive conversation. And sometimes it's just great having other people with whom you are an equal level in terms of ambition and capability level and probably level of leadership in your organization, whatever that is, from not yet or the top, but just having someone with whom you would consider them to be a partner or an equal or a peer. That's what I'm talking about. Someone who you can relate to, they can relate to you. It's just really, really powerful. Now, sometimes thinking partners can be coaches. I am definitely that for some people. So think about who you already know. I'm very clear as I was, designing my thinking process for this conversation that most people already have people they will bounce ideas off of. They will say, hey, do you think I should do this? Or this is the situation. What do you think the best course of action is? I'm leaning this way, but I have a few considerations. And then someone else, a great person will go, oh, well, interesting. Have you thought about that? And then you're like, no. Thank you for bringing that up, right? So you already have people with whom you have these conversations. You already have a network. You just may not have been consciously tapping into them. You may have been hesitant or reticent to reach out, thinking that they're super busy. They may not have time for you. They'll let you know. Don't take it personally. Lots of folks out there. But I just want to say, be conscious about building your thinking partner network, your professional network, your friend network, whatever you want to call it. It's not networking just for that sense. So I want to kind of transcend that perspective a little bit, but just use Nick's term, intellectual sparring partner. Do you have someone you can think with that as a result of conversations with them, you end up better. You end up with a bigger perspective, more well-rounded, clearer in your, direction that you want to take or that you think is a good avenue to pursue. That's what is important to make sure that you have. And it will stand you in good stead because especially if you're in a leadership level right now, not the founder, as your founder moves on to their next thing, who are your people going to be that are not just inside the organization? Who can you talk to about things that you're experiencing and that you're having questions about, again, that you have uncertainties with? I know I just last week got to coach our phenomenal Chicago team leader workshop. Love, love, love those people. I originally created that group so I would have other people to talk to. That's who they were. And it's been, done it forever, well over 20 years, 25 actually. So I so trust those people and they trust me. And so many of them have grown in their leadership because they had other thinking partners. Now, the cool thing about coach workshops is they're structured thinking events. I heard one person from EOS call it a full day clarity break. Thought that was a brilliant description of coach workshops. So that definitely gets created, but you also want to have things outside of that. You want to make sure that you have other people you can tap into. Maybe that's where you met them. Also awesome. But really building out that network will give you a sense of security that you have other people, your peeps, to reach out to that have your back, that care about your well-being, that you've contributed to them, they've contributed to you. You have this strong network of connections that you can reach out to when things are interesting or challenging or hard or exciting, and they will help celebrate you. They will help support you, and you will be stronger and more capable as a result, and you will share that back with them. So I hope you're excited about consciously, not unconsciously, but consciously building in thinking partners, structuring time for that, making time for events, opportunities to do things together, collaborations. This is really where collaborations come from. So as you look around to the people that you know, hope some names are bubbling up in your head. You're like, oh, yes, that's another one of mine. So again, just really appreciate that. So figure out who you want to be on your list, reach out to them, see whether or not they're interested in having regular connection points with you. Maybe once a month max is the most frequency, and then go have fun. Let them know that they're in this privileged small group that you are putting together of people that you just want to have in your circle and see what happens as a result of that. And please let me know. So let me know at questions@strategiccoach.com. Love to hear your feedback. Really appreciate you listening today. I hope you've got some inspiration and some excitement about this idea of building your own thinking partner network, your professional friends. Make sure they're people you like and trust. That should be a given. And as always, here's to your team success.